of Britain needed a way to keep its colonies dependent and retain a continual source of income. The British were firm believers in mercantilism. Larry Schweikart and Michael Allen, the authors of A Patriot's History of the United States, explained that the mercantilist doctrine demanded that the individual subordinate his economic activity to the interests of the state. But how could England keep the riches of the fertile and successful colonies in their possession? The solution to this was proposed to be the Navigation Acts, which were instituted in the 1750s to early 1760s. These acts included a series of regulations on crops and goods grown in the colonies. Producing materials such as iron or printing money was strictly prohibited in order to retain the attachment to England as a necessity. England provided subsidies for certain goods, such as cotton, molasses, and sugar, but only if grown in the appropriate colonies. For example, the British West Indies were assigned to grow sugarcane, but if South Carolinian farmers attempted to grow sugar, they would face taxation and penalties. All raw goods, no matter where in the colonies they were produced, were to be exported to England, where they were manufactured into products to be traded, ensuring revenue for the crown. Colonists were prohibited from trading with anyone other than English. This system provided a monopoly on trading and retained wealth within the English Empire. But having the government choose which settlements would produce materials and therefore prosper was highly unpopular among the Americans. Eventually, colonists devised their own solutions to economic problems due to the new acts. American farmers began to completely ignore these laws and began smuggling with many settlements, including the French and Spanish. England was at war with these countries for much of the 18th century, making these actions treasonous. England tried to institute the Navigation Acts to corner trading in its empire, but it failed and moreover taught the Americans how to ignore English laws. There are several reasons why smuggling spread so quickly among the Americas and the Navigation Acts flopped. Schweikart and Allen wrote, "Smuggling made heroes out of otherwise obnoxious pirates, turning bloodthirsty cutthroats into brave entrepreneurs. Business spread not only from farmers, but to merchants and shipowners. Also, the attempted enforcement of the Navigation Acts was hardly strict. This was partly due to lackluster government officials and royal governors. A post in the Americas was less than desirable, as the colonists were uncivilized and much less British than those of the West Indies, for example. Thus, as stated in the Patriot's History, a governor's post offered havens for corrupt officials and royal cronies, such as New York Governor Lord Cornbury, a cousin of Queen Anne, who is a dishonest transvestite, or, in an extreme case, Sir Danvers Osborne, a mentally unstable governor, who loathed his post so much that he hanged himself after 1 week in the Americas. These less than ideal leaders neglected to enforce punishment for acts such as smuggling, and worse, commonly accepted bribery from colonists. Wealthy English merchants, however, who were no longer forced to face a myriad of competitors, thrived in this new system and gravitated toward port cities such as Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Charleston, where mercantilism blossomed. But the vast majority of colonists, who were both the producers and consumers of this system, despised these laws. England's goals for the Navigation Acts were to produce dependency of the colonies on England, encourage independency of the colonies to each other, and force wealth to stay in the power of the British. Instead, these acts prompted unity and hatred of England and treasonous smuggling. America began to create its own economy despite British law. Colonists learned to fight for their freedom and take hold of their situation with both hands, traits that America is instilling into her people today. England tried to keep the colonists separate in both spirit and belief, but instead it fueled the unity America needed for a revolution against England. Thank you.